Music, African Cocktail coming to from Africa Radio. You shall also be listening to one of our resource persons. His name is Ken Shali Monet. Ken Shali Monet is an actor, a writer, a producer, and he has a good knowledge on this topic we are discussing today on African Cocktail. So don't just go away. You shall listen to diverse opinions in this edition of African Cocktail. But then, if you're out there listening to us, this is the time to open the doors for our main topic today. And so, just like politicians, artists who comprise musicians, actors, fashion designers, models, writers, and to an extent journalists are influential people in every society. They do not only attract a lot of attention, but are loved, admired, and adored. And most importantly, these people are respected. In their opinion-leading role, society holds artists in very high esteem and rely on them for many things, including solutions to problems which logically they cannot solve. Society believes in artists and look up to them as leaders, even when they have not been officially declared as such. How people have fanatically followed artists is no longer news. How people have tried to emulate what they do, wear, talk, sing, and act is not a strange phenomenon. How parents have named their children after artists is not new. And how people have paid huge sums of money only to get a glimpse of artists is common. Examples abound. Now, the short of it is that artists shine like morning star and are famous, even famous than politicians who control people's destinies. In short, many artists are role models, and in their songs they speak to our minds, call it consciences. In their songs, they tell the stories we would have loved to tell, but cannot because we are not them. In their performances, they represent our lives. In their fashion, they design us, and in their reporting, they inform us about us. Artists are therefore a totality of what society is all about. It is this opinion-leading role of artists that make this set of people very important in society. As role models, people want to believe in artists and keep relying on them for everything, even when the artists themselves fall short of this thrust. Even when artists have gone wrong, people have still held them tight. An observer has even described this attitude as fanatically stupid. Oh, stupidly fanatic. But even when these artists think that fans are stupid, you cannot blame them, for the strength of a piece of artistic work on its audience is so huge. Science would testify this. However, the question here is whether some artists are aware of this natural strength they possess simply because they are artists. Do they respect this status? Do they appreciate this love they freely get? Do they give back responsibly? Do they understand their position as role models? In short, do many artists deserve the opinion-leading position they serve? This takes us to the question of branding. Have many African artists branded themselves enough to consider themselves as stars? Do they know or understand what branding is all about? How it is done, with whom it is done, when and where? Should artists still be so ordinary, especially in terms of attitude? How can they step up the game of respect? Must society continue to believe in artists who do not believe in societal values that promote progress in every sense, simply because they sing well, act well, design well, or do the catwalking well? Must society continue to hail artists who are bad examples to a growing generation simply because they have a good voice or can gesticulate well on a movie set? Now, must society continue to applaud artists for promoting obscenity when this very society is striving to build a generation of responsible people? How can artists brand themselves to be examples to emulate? The answers to these and many more questions will constitute a series of shows on this topic African Cocktail will be running. But today, we will begin with the initial phase, which will be looking more at concept definitions. And to help us attempt answers to these questions, we got a specialist in the domain. Cynthia Tabe is a corporate communication specialist and an entertainment promoter who has been involved in artist branding for quite some time now. Cynthia also runs the Mode Maison PR, a corporate communication agency. She's based in London, the United Kingdom. So we'll be having Cynthia in the next couple of seconds. This African Cocktail. Stay with us. It's exactly 8 minutes to 11 and time for us to move on to London, where our special guest is now on the line for the conversation on the branding of artists to kick off. Cynthia Tabe, welcome back.
Thank you once more.
Now, Cynthia, what would branding mean in general terms? A lot has been said about branding, and I must confess that I really don't know what branding is all about. Tell us, what is the meaning of branding?
Well, a strong brand is invaluable, especially as the battle for customers and fans intensifies day by day. Your brand is the source of your promise to your customer, or consumers, or your fans. It's a very important piece in your marketing communication, and one that you do not want to be without. So basically, a brand is, in general terms, a brand is a name, term, sign, symbol, or design, or a combination of them that is intended to identify a goods and services of one seller or group of sellers, differentiating them from those of another seller. So basically, it's how you stand out. What makes you stand out from the rest?
Right. A layman would normally think that branding is meant for goods and products, and you just mentioned something like that. Yet, there is much talk about branding of people. So why should people be branded at all, Cynthia? Are people goods?
Well, that's another type of branding, which is called personal brand or personal branding. And the personal branding is in many ways synonymous with a reputation. So it refers to the way that other people see you as a business owner or representative of an idea or organization or an activity or even an artist. Generally, if you're trying to sell something to the public or anyone, branding will give you that added value, that edge over the rest by enabling you to confirm your credibility, and also by emotionally connecting you to your fans if you're a music artist, so that you can create a fan base. And it also motivates them to continue to be loyal to you. So that's why a personal brand is important for musical artists, for example.
Now, let us talk about branding of artists, be they musicians, actors, writers, journalists, and what have you, Cynthia. Now, what are the various ways in which artists can be branded?
Okay, they can be branded by, for example, their self-packaging. And self-packaging, I mean physical appearance, their name, how it's written, their logo if they have one, their videos, how they're presented in the videos and how they present their videos, their pictures, how they're presented in their pictures and how they present their pictures, and also their personality, so people can feel like they know them. If you want to gain fans, if you want to broaden your artistic sphere, because there's so many artists out there, you want to make sure that your fan base feels that they know you, that they're close to you. And also, they can be branded through their online presence, which leads to a uniquely distinguishable and ideally memorable impression.
That's interesting. Now, so who has to brand the artist, Cynthia? Must it be their manager or someone else can do it?
Well, since branding itself has different facets for music artists, I would say the music side should be done together with the manager and the A&R team. prior to the artist being released. They need to identify what sort of music they're going to be putting out there and work together to achieve that. And then we have the image side or the packaging side that I referred to a bit earlier. That side should typically include as well a PR agent, because it is the agent who will be in charge of handling and managing the artist's public image and reputation. So they should be involved on that side.
Cynthia, we'll be back with you. Thank you so much for this introductory phase of the topic. We'll be back with you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Okay, her name is Cynthia Tabe. She is a corporate communications specialist, and she has so much experience in the field of branding artists. I mentioned a while ago this young Cameroonian rapper known as Siana, who actually benefited or who actually savored this experience which our special guest has. And I think what Cynthia did to this young artist must have inspired so many people as far as the branding of artists is concerned. We shall have so much to talk about that in this edition of African Cocktail. Okay, let's have some music and we see where to go next. Okay, at exactly 15 minutes past 11, let's move back to London, where Cynthia is back on the air. Cynthia, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, so Cynthia, how long should a branding process take to be termed successful?
Well, as long as the product is still in the market, the branding process continues. So your brand becomes successful if you are meeting and even exceeding your goals that were set. Nonetheless, as time goes on, a brand can also be rebranded or refreshed to take it to greater heights and to keep it on top of its competitors.
But Cynthia, we know products that have been consumed for so long, yet people keep liking them. Now, do such products need rebranding or continuous branding?
Well, the thing is, branding is there to emotionally connect you and connect your product to the fans. So if your product has been in the market for years and fans are still buying it, that means your branding is working, because you have managed to emotionally connect your consumers to your product.
Okay, so at what stage would you consider an artist branded, and who determines this? Is it the public or the artist himself?
Well, no. The artist, the branding should have come from the artist team. The artist and the team should have done the branding. And by observation, you can typically see a branded artist, for example, by their style of communication and interaction, their packaging, like I mentioned before, the shows that they perform in, the association and networks, the fees that they command, the images and videos that are released. Typically from that, you should be able to see that this artist is how this artist is branded himself or herself.
Right. So do people train formally to become managers or to be able to brand artists? And if so, where do they train, and how long does it take you to train yourself to become that one who can brand others?
Well, you have branding agencies, you have people that become, like brand managers, but I think it all comes from experience, because first of all, for me, I do not believe that you need a formal education to be able to decide on how to brand. The most important thing is you just need to understand the needs and wants of your prospective fan base, for example, if you're a music artist, and then integrate that with your brand strategy. So normally most of these people have become brand managers. Some of them is just by experience, where they may have been working in a communication agency and they've developed, or they may have done it it comes in with part of marketing at each school. But experience is what in the end determines what you can do or how you can do it.
Now, we've seen a lot of Cynthia Tabe in the branding of some Cameroonian artists, but without necessarily talking about them, Cynthia, I would want us to look at some other examples. Who do you think has successfully come, along, or has successfully gone through this process of branding. Can you cite some examples to me, Cynthia, as far as Africa is concerned?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we cannot even go far from Cameroon. Just looking next door to our neighbors, there's Nigeria, and I mean, the way that because they're the ones representing the African music at the moment. I mean, we have the ultimate boy group, P Square. We have Whiskey, David Day, and Ice Prince. We have Don Jazzy, Tiwa Savage, who's like the leading female artist in Nigeria. We have Aki WMI. Abana. I mean, these boys are remarkable because they have successfully built a music scene that can be reckoned with and is to be reckoned with by winning most of the awards and amassing large fan bases. It's not just about the music production side, it's also about what they have done with their branding.
Cynthia, some of these people you just named actually have... Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
I can't hear you.
Are you right now? Okay, I was saying that some of these people you just named actually have products that are appealing, to the audience. Now, if you have an artist who... Oh, we're sorry about that. We'll definitely come back to that. We have a lot of technical hitches. Okay. This is African Cocktail, the 65th episode, coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's have some music, then we'll probably go back to London to continue our conversation with Cynthia. Meantime, we still have Solomon Atta, our main man in South Africa, Titus Banyo in Antwerp, Belgium, and of course, Ifana Kwala in Douala, Cameroon. Cynthia is back on the line. Cynthia, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, we're sorry about the technical hitch we had earlier, Cynthia. Now, I was trying to find out something from you. You just mentioned some Nigerian artists who, according to you, are brands, in their various respects. And I was saying that these people have actually produced appealing stuff which the audience have fallen in love with. But now, let me ask this question. If you have an artist who is not loved either by their performance, can a manager or a branding specialist brand that artist to an extent where the public will start liking them?
Of course. Of course, you can brand anything. I mean, if you put hard work in it, you have a vision, you have your tactics, you have your strategy. Of course, you can. You can do that and then put that, put the artist back in the market.
And that would definitely require so much, because you have to convince people to like something which they don't like. So how do you go about that, for instance?
The thing is, it's not about convincing people to like what they don't like. It's about, basically, depending on what the artist was doing that they did not like, that can be changed. That can be completely taken out, and the stuff that they like can be put, can be injected into that artist. But that saying, an artist should try, obviously, because there's so many different artists in the market, you want to come out, you want to be launched and to be seen, to stand out. You want, because that's what's going to attract, get people to notice you first of all, get the fans to notice that, oh, who is this? So again, if your music is right, your self-packaging is right, there should be no need why, the fans will not like you. I mean, to be honest, I've hardly seen an artist who has come out and has not had anybody like him or her. I haven't seen that.
Right. Now, another scenario is beginning from scratch, like we mentioned earlier on, and we've observed how brilliantly you worked on the image of Sienna, the up-and-coming Cameroonian rapper. Now, could you explain your strategy and why you think it was quite effective?
Well, the Cameroon music scene is still a very baby scene, and there are so many things that are still lacking at the moment that we are just making do with what we have. For Sienna, we wanted to place her as high as we could in the music, in her music genre, which is rap, because really there is no female out there, there is no female artist or female rapper out there in Cameroon that, is dominating. So So which means that there was or there is a space for her to come and do that. And we really wanted to inject a strong emphasis on her image, her appearance, as well as her communication, and also how she releases her music and her music videos, and also her music tracks. I mean, I won't say that we're there yet. I term her a work in progress because we're still working on her. But the most important thing is that we have a vision of where we want her to be, and we also have a path that we're putting, before us, when we want to, how we're going to take her to where we want her to be. So she is a work in progress.
Cynthia, we'll come back to you. Time for us to move to South Africa and meet Solomon. Thank you so much for this education.
Thank you. See you soon. All right.
Cynthia, welcome. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Okay, Cynthia, we're about to run off this discussion, and I'm going to say this. Stanley Eno once said, "I am a brand." Listen carefully, Cynthia. Stanley Eno once said, "I am a brand," and someone remarked to me the other day that she admires how the young Cameroonian rapper has built his image to a level where he's respected, where he's a respected personality in the profession he's practicing. So how would you describe the kind of branding that happened to Stanley, and can anyone else succeed if they employ the same strategy, Cynthia?
Okay, so first of all, Stanley Eno is an ex-communication student. Wow. He has a degree in that field, and also we have to note that within these studies, branding should have also been a part of the curriculum, which means that he had prior knowledge giving him that upper edge, and which also made my job very easy. Stanley knows exactly where he wants to be. He knew that he wanted to be at the top of the game in Cameroon and beyond Cameroon, and that is what we as a team, as Stanley's team, including himself, were working towards. That's our vision.
Right.
So I do not believe that you can't simply copy someone else's strategy and expect it to work for you. Why? Because a strategy success depends on or there are factors that can make the strategy not work, such as personality traits. Everybody is different. Stanley's personality is different from another artist's personality. Stanley's vision is different from another person's vision.
Right.
And his target or expectation, his self-motivation, determination, and his team, it will be different from another person or another artist's, team. And all of this is what can influence a strategy's success. So no, you cannot simply copy what someone else has done and expect it to work. You have to adapt your own. You have to work with what you have, work with who you have, work with your personality, work with your team, work with your determination, your self-motivation, your vision, and what it is you're trying to achieve for yourself as an artist.
Right.
That's what you have to work with. You have to understand that.
So, Cynthia, what do you think is responsible for success in branding? Is it hard work? Is it luck? Or is it just a star which shines?
Like everything else in this world or in life, hard work is always the major factor. You cannot expect to get something without putting anything in. It does not work that way. So hard work is a major factor for the success of the brand. And then comes luck that it actually works. So that's how we go. You have to work hard at it.
Cynthia, it is a very lengthy topic, and you're definitely going to come back on the show so that we get into the other aspects of branding. Thank you so much for accepting to be special guest in this edition of African Cocktail and for enlightening us on this very salient topic.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you to your listeners for listening, and hope to be on the show another time again. And thank you for the job that you're doing in African Cocktail and shining the spotlight on the African and the Cameroonian especially, the artists and the talent. We appreciate you and we appreciate African Cocktail. Keep up the good work.
And it is thanks to God that this work is being done the way it should be done. Thank you so much, Cynthia Tabe. She was special guest in this episode of African Cocktail. Then we had